Hello, and welcome to Stocks and Tarot. In this channel, we explore the world of finance through the magic of tarot. This week, the question we asked the tarot was, is the bear market over? Now, before we get to the answer, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. It really helps us grow, and it's very much appreciated. Now, on to the reading. For this reading, I did my usual 3-card spread, representing the recent past, the current situation, and the near future. I also pulled 2 clarity cards and checked out the card at the bottom of the deck, just to get an idea of what lies at the root of this reading and what the tarot has to say about the current market sentiment. The bottom card to me also speaks to hidden influences and hidden meanings. I think you're going to find the messages from this reading very interesting. Now, onto the spread. First card we're going to look at represents the recent past, and the card I pulled was the Page of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups represents good news. It can mean a financial situation is improving, but it can also mean a need to do the work regarding financial planning and investments. Sometimes daydreaming and unrealistic financial goals can set you back. Be careful of that. It's an emotional card, so don't let your hopes, fears get the best of you. Now, in tarot, pages represent hope, excitement, and the beginning of a journey. The Page of Cups foretells of good news, and I interpret this card to say that we have received some good news in the markets in the recent past. Perhaps the latest CPI inflation report that came in much lower than expected is what the tarot is referring to here. The page also sends a warning for us to not get carried away with our hopes and dreams, so it's important to stay realistic when it comes to finances. Now, it's not necessarily going to be smooth sailing from here onward, but the Page of Cups is a positive card to get in a financial reading. Moving on, current situation. The card I pulled for the current situation was the King of Cups reversed. Now, the King of Cups reversed is not a good card. It speaks to being unproductive and unreliable, bad financial judgment. It speaks to letting your uncontrolled emotions make your financial choices for you. It can mean emotional purchases. And the King of Cups in the reverse position shows an individual that is not trustworthy or emotionally stable. So now that you'll notice that we're back to talking about emotions and the need to stay realistic and grounded, which was indicated by the previous card, the Page of Cups. So that's a clear message coming through in this reading so far. The reverse King of Cups can also indicate feeling anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed. We can be vulnerable in this emotional state and gullible too. So despite good news, the market is still volatile and traps are out there. There are those in the market who really can't wait to separate you from your money. So to me, the King of Cups reverse is telling us not to let fear and negative emotions drive our financial decisions. Be wary and vigilant and proceed accordingly. And I think the current mood is still one of fear and emotion. And I think there's a lot of shady activity going on in this market currently. But I'll speak a little more to that as we continue. Now, moving into the next card, which represents the near future. This was a really good card, the King of Wands. And the King of Wands to pull in this position is a bright light to me. The King of Wands speaks to boldness and optimism, financial stability, financial wisdom. It can also mean a financial windfall and investments paying off. The King of Wands represents generosity and long-term financial success. So, like I said, this is a good omen in regards to financial matters, and it helps to put the previous cards into perspective. The King of Wands foretells of a windfall or of investments paying off. So in the near future position, the King of Wands tells me that we are heading into a period of financial stability and prosperity. We still need to be mindful and heed the messages of the reversed King of Cups, however, as we're not in this prosperous period yet. Now, I pulled 2 clarity cards to help frame this reading and provide a little more insight. And the first clarity card I pulled was the 2 of Pentacles. Now, the 2 of Pentacles speaks to finding balance and multitasking, perseverance. It can also represent fluctuating wealth, decisions about large sums of money, and some serious investment choices. It can talk to the need to stay focused and productive. So, there is definitely a need right now to stay focused and vigilant. Let's not get caught up yet in the hope and excitement that was indicated earlier by the Page of Cups, but instead stay focused on maintaining balance. This card to me speaks to the ups and downs and choppiness of the markets and the need for diversification in investment portfolios. To state the obvious, if you're diversified, when some investments go down, others are going up. It provides balance. And if you take a look at the boats navigating the choppy waters in the background, I think this is a good symbol or a metaphor for choppiness and what to expect in the short term in this market. I think this card is telling us that the markets are going to remain choppy for the next little while. Next card I pulled for clarity was the Ace of Swords, and this is an interesting card because the aces are beginnings for one, and this card speaks of swift change. It also speaks of clarity, new financial opportunities and breakthroughs. It tells us to avoid emotional decisions when it comes to money and to think logically. And it also speaks to focus and truth. Truth and clarity are powerful messages from the Ace of Swords. So here we are with another message speaking to the necessity of staying grounded and focused and not allowing our emotions to drive our financial decisions. Like I said, the Ace of Swords speaks to clarity and truth, but aces, like I said, also represent new beginnings, and like the Two of Pentacles, aces can also represent the receiving of news. So maybe the most recent CPI report isn't the only good news the market's going to receive this year and in this current period. So, we should wait and see if maybe more good news is just ahead of us. I think in this instance, I feel that the Ace of Swords is telling us that the market direction will soon become clear, right? It's a moment of truth, so to speak. This card indicates that we will break through this current negative cycle and a positive new beginning is just ahead of us. Now, I also look at the bottom of the deck, and the card at the bottom of the deck, to me, speaks to the market foundations and market sentiment. But it can also speak to hidden influences and hidden meanings. So it adds, again, a little more clarity to a reading. Now, the card that was at the bottom of the deck was the King of Pentacles reversed. In an upright position, the King of Pentacles is an excellent card to have in a financial reading. However, in a reversed position, it's not a good card at all. But I don't think all is lost with this card. I think it's giving us warnings and messages, and not necessarily pertaining to a negative event coming down the pipe, so to speak. Anyway, the King of Pentacles reversed talks about financial loss. It speaks to debt and poor financial decisions, financial instability, an inability to meet financial objectives. It can also represent corrupt forces at work or warn of corruption and greed, stinginess, and hoarding of resources. It can warn of bankruptcy. It also tells us to keep focused on long-term goals. It can also speak to difficulties in the short term, but even though there's difficulties, success is still possible. And it tells us to about not identifying yourself or your long-term prospects with potential short-term downturns. So just because things are going down in the short term doesn't mean that all is lost when it comes to a long-term perspective. And it's important to think long range when you see this card when it comes to finances and investments. Now, like I said, it's not a great card to pull in a financial reading, but I do feel it's a good representation of the current market sentiment. Investors have seen significant losses in 2022. But in this position, I feel that the King of Pentacles reverse not only speaks to the deeply negative and bearish sentiment that pervades the markets these days, but also to market manipulation and corrupt forces at work. It's no secret that there are those out there who seek to benefit by keeping this market down as long as possible. But the reversed King of Pentacles also speaks to the need to look at the long term as we continue to navigate this very difficult but most likely temporary downturn in the market. Now, my intuitive interpretation from all of this, from the messages in this particular reading, well, several of the cards speak to good news, new beginnings and opportunities, and financial success just on the horizon. But several cards also speak to the need to remain wary, cautious, and vigilant. There are three kings in this reading, and two of the kings are reversed. Now, if kings represent power and stability, then two reversed kings says to me that there are nefarious yet powerful players at work in this market, perhaps indulging in market manipulation schemes. Think short and distort type schemes, for instance. For now, this powerful but negative influence is dominant, but that will change, and soon, I sense. This is not the first time I have sensed nefarious forces at work when it comes to manipulating the markets. I think it's more common and widespread than most people realize. The King of Pentacles reversed at the bottom of this deck says that to me very clearly. The King of Pentacles reverse represents the current negative and fearful mood of the market, which I sense has been made worse than it's needed to be. The King of Wands upright, however, in the future position, says to me that this negative influence is temporary and will be coming to an end in the not too distant future. So with this in mind, it's important to note that several of the cards in this spread spoke to the need to stay focused, cautious, and vigilant, and not to let our negative emotions influence our financial decisions. So the cards to me are clear. We're not out of the woods yet, but to answer the question, is the bear market over? I interpret the cards as saying yes, the bear market is over or will soon be ending. We're going to continue to have a period of choppiness and volatility in the short term, however, and we will continue to see big moves up and down. In previous readings, I clearly saw short-term momentum being bullish, and I still feel that this will be the case, but we need to be prepared for volatility nonetheless. There is definitely a need for continued caution and vigilance, but I do sense that the future is looking positive and prosperous. Now, for a quick clairvoyant moment, I keep seeing in my mind's eye the image of broken and jagged glass. Think of a mountaintop with many sharp peaks. In tarot, mountains represent challenges or obstacles to overcome. I sense that this image foretells of sharp obstacles and a painful, hazardous time in the near future. I'm sensing Q1 2023. I'm getting the impression that we need to brace ourselves for extreme volatility in the financial markets in the near future. I do intuitively feel that we will continue to see an uptrend in the financial markets leading into year end, but I also feel that a good part of Q1 2023 is going to be treacherous. With that said, however, I feel that this treacherous period will be a short-term thing, and that the markets will stabilize as we move further into 2023. I also feel that the reverse King of Pentacles, while speaking to the current market sentiment and situation, is also foretelling of an upcoming negative period. As I said earlier, I sense that the reversed King of Pentacles in this reading is warning us of deceit and hidden market manipulation. Perhaps we're going to see one last dramatic attempt by nefarious forces to squeeze every last penny possible out of this market before the bull trend resumes. You never know, but only time will tell. That's it for this reading. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button and leave your comments below. Your support is very much appreciated. Thank you and see you next time.